journey is the process whereby we come back to ourselves. What is the nature of love? Why are we lonely? Because we're not with ourselves. Your idea of yourself is an idea. Your image of yourself is a thought. If you were with yourself truly, you would never be lonely again. But since you're always with an image or a thought or an idea of yourself, and since that doesn't actually feed you at all, then you're inclined to scared of the unknown. We need to be in control. We need to conform to what I call ego processing. We need to have a reliable labeling and categorizing of life. The question is, what is the meaning of life? Life is its own meaning. The meaning of life, or the meaning of our relationship to life, is life itself. We have a certain kind of experience which gives us certain beliefs about life that we then carry over into early life, adolescence, and subsequently into adulthood. Whatever way you want to consider that, in terms of past life or in terms of impersonal regeneration of soul forces, the fact is, you don't come in a vacuum. There's some impulse towards awakening, and you already have the raw materials for it. Psycho-spiritual development means pulling yourself away from the fake center. It's an important thing for you to realize in your life that when you're lost, it's a movement away from the false center towards the real center, towards that which is center. When you're lost, you're actually discovering who you really are. The mystery is God. The mystery is the truth. The mystery is everything that's real. Welcome to our website, the Center for Human Awakening. I'm here to share with you the mission statement and to give some details of the text, which is also on this page for you to read. Sharing our mission, establishing the spiritual sacred foundations for a new world in the 21st century. Our mission statement. Our mission is to awaken individual consciousness, further global healing, and the collective awakening of humanity, in order to establish the spiritual sacred foundation for a new era of awareness, compassion, and peace. We have grouped our endeavours under three spheres, the three spheres of endeavour that are collected under the separate but connected headings of the way of sacred attention, the creation of a divine meta-psychology, and the art of conscious living. These three spheres of endeavour comprise sacred attention therapy, sacred attention spiritual training, sacred attention psychology, the sacred attention project, human awakening groups, the Arhat project, and finally lay counsellor support and training. The way of sacred attention. The way of sacred attention consists of two principal disciplines: sacred attention therapy and sacred attention spiritual training. Together, they comprise a comprehensive approach to the psycho-spiritual development of the human being. Sacred attention therapy is a radical, innovative therapy and healing modality for the 21st century. It is based on the 3 stages of awakening and other original concepts drawn from my work, Richard Harvey. Sacred attention therapy addresses the full spectrum of psychological growth and spiritual development of the human being. One key idea that has great significance for the individual and the modern era is that between the psychological and the spiritual dimensions of human existence is a connecting heart stage of authenticity and compassion, which represents the natural flowering of a human life. This approach proposes that inner work is crucial for humanity's future, and that it is only through individual, personal awakening to inner wisdom, authenticity, and innate compassion that the world will thrive and realize a new era of cooperation, tolerance, and peace. Sacred attention spiritual training is a spiritual sacred way for the modern era, which radically revises popular assumptions about spiritual life. The preparatory period of spiritual approach toward the end of the 2nd stage of awakening prepares the aspirant for authentic spiritual life, supported, explained, and nurtured in the sacred attention spiritual training teachings of the 3rd stage of awakening. The 3 spiritual natures of knowledge, devotion, and service are identified and embraced individually by each aspirant as the basis for spiritual practice in a consistent and non-progressive practice of lifelong spiritual discipline. Underpinning sacred attention therapy and sacred attention spiritual training is the emergence of a 5th wave of human psychology, a progression and expansion of existing ways of understanding human beings, which places spirituality at the very center of human earthly life in order to recognize its sacredness. The creation of a divine metapsychology. The creation of a divine metapsychology consists of 2 principal enterprises: sacred attention psychology and the sacred attention project. The 2 combine with the purpose of assembling a body of work that represents an expansive understanding of humanity, with the spiritual essence of the human being at the central core. The divine metapsychology comprises a comprehensive approach to psychospiritual development and supersedes existing psychologies by clearly connecting the individual with the spiritual essence, the human with the divine. At the heart of sacred attention psychology is the relationship to the numinous, which is not achieved necessarily through religious belief, spiritual conviction, or association with a spiritual organization or religion, but rather in the grounding of genuine spirituality and living a sacred life of authenticity, awareness, freedom and empathy. In order to be capable of this, sacred attention psychology proposes the total release of attachments to the past and embracing the true nature of the individual. The Sacred Attention Project is the collaboration of an international group of multidisciplinary practitioners in order to share information, embrace different viewpoints and understanding in the spirit of partnership and cooperation. Currently, the project is working to produce a collectively authored body of work that, alongside my, Richard Harvey's, published works, will form the basis of a divine metapsychology. The art of conscious living. The art of conscious living consists of 3 initiatives: human awakening groups, the Arhat project, and lay counsellor support and training. The art of conscious living is a response to a growing need in people to grow and awaken psychologically, and to intensify and accelerate the individual and collective processes of personal growth and spiritual development. Together, they represent a comprehensive, practical approach to working with the psycho-spiritual processes of human beings, both formally and informally. Human awakening groups are for people who share an interest in personal growth and inner work, and are in need of a community of like-minded souls for their inner development. The art of conscious living offers guidance for the facilitation of group meetings, along with the offer of attendance by sacred attention therapy teachers and therapists to supervise the unfolding progress of the group. The inspirational function of a human awakening group is to practice, grow through and teach the 3 stages of awakening. The human awakening group can be established in a physical location or over the internet. The Arhat project is a model for residential spiritual communities and an experiment in sacred living for people seeking personal authenticity through psychological development and spiritual realization. Based on the principles of sacred attention therapy and my 3 stages of awakening, the processes of inner inquiry and personal transformation are accelerated through a sacred, engaged schedule of psychospiritual discipline, psychological exploration, and individual awakening. The central activities of AHAT communities include communal life, therapeutic group work, psychospiritual discourses, study, creativity, and arts, meditation, spiritual and sacred practices, and spiritual guidance. Lay Counsellor Support and Training is an initiative that extends basic principles of therapy and counselling in sacred attention psychology and sacred attention therapy, and offers them in an accessible form to the lay counsellor. The lay counsellor may practice these skills in everyday transactions, in his or her relationships, marriage, partnership and family, with children, at work, and in talking to a friend in distress. The fundamental idea behind this initiative is that with only a little deepening of skill sets, people who may have no calling to train as a therapist or counsellor can learn to extend concern, love and kindness, and be with others more compassionately and effectively. Here then is a summary of the endeavours and enterprises that we have discussed. They combine in our intention to fulfill our mission at the Centre for Human Awakening. The way of sacred attention therapy, and sacred attention spiritual training. The creation of a divine meta-psychology, sacred attention psychology, and the Sacred Attention Project. The art of conscious living, human awakening groups, the AHAT project, and lay counsellor support and training. Thank you for your time. I hope you'll enjoy exploring the website, and I hope you'll find something useful, inspiring, or in other ways helpful to you.